Welcome to a news update from the Sustainability Channel. I'm Thomas Stanley and I'm your host. And today we're going to focus on the sustainability of the 2024 Olympic Games in France. Let's start by having a look at an article from France 24 with the headline Greenest in History, how Paris aims to halve the Olympics' carbon footprint. With their stated aim of halving the carbon footprint of previous Olympic Games in Rio and London, the organizers of Paris 2024 have promised historic progress on behalf of the climate. But as they work to rise the challenge, uncertainties remain. The 2024 Paris Olympic and Paralympic Games are being hailed as the greenest in history by organizers. Tony Estanguet, president of the organizing committee for Paris 2024, has said the Games will be historic for the climate, a sentiment echoed by all those involved, notably Paris ecologically minded Mayor Anne Hidalgo. The stated aim is to reduce more than half the carbon emitted by London 2012 and Rio 2016, which emitted 3.4 million and 3.6 million tons of CO2 respectively, to under 1.5 million tons of CO2. This is less than Tokyo 2021, which emitted 1.9 million tons of CO2, despite being deprived of spectators due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And a quote here, we want to show that another model is possible and create a legacy for major sporting events. We don't claim to be perfect, but we want to show that we can do things differently, says Georgina Grenon, the Environmental Excellence Director for Paris 2024. In previous games, the carbon footprint was calculated after the event wrapped up, by calculating the emissions of policy decisions before they are made and implemented. Paris has taken a different approach. The carbon budget is divided into three distinct categories: travel 34%, construction 33%, and operations like catering, accommodation, logistics, etc. 33%. This dynamic is the right one, and the stated objective seems to be in line with the Paris Agreement, says Maëlle Besson, a specialist in environmental issues relating to sport. Paris' ability to use existing infrastructure for events is also driving down emissions relative to the Games' predecessors. Nearly all, 95% of the Olympic venues have already been built before the start of the Olympic Games. This strategy contrasts strongly with previous games such as Athens 2004, where costly and since abandoned white elephant sites still haunt the city's politicians. Energy and pollution. Paris 2024 has embarked on a colossal energy project. The Paris 2024 Organizing Committee, COJO, hopes to connect all Olympic sites to the public electricity grid and do away with diesel electricity generation. Today, the lighting at the Stade de France is powered by oil-fired generators. For the Olympics, this will be relegated to last resort use and run on biofuel instead. Pollution is also a main focus of organizers. The organizing committee is applying circular economics where it can. The 42,000 chairs, 10,000 office tables, 6,000 shelves and 800 workstations used for the games will be recovered after the event. 3/4 will be resold second-hand or donated, while others will be recycled or reused to manufacture other products. As for the 13 million meals that will be served, the organizing committee plans to serve plates with 25% of products sourced from within 250 kilometers of the Olympic venues, and to double the number of vegetarian options available during the previous games. And BBC Sport has also interviewed Thomas Bach, the president of the International Olympic Committee, and he told BBC Sport that sustainability is an issue very close to his heart. Bach said that climate change represents an extremely serious threat, not only for sport, but for all our lives, adding, "This is why, with our Olympic agenda reforms, we undertook to tackle these issues by focusing on reducing our footprint." Before London 2012, 6 new stadiums were built. Rio built 10 permanent new sites and 7 temporary ones. Of the 35 stadiums housing events at Paris 2024, only 2 will be new and purpose-built. an aquatic center, and an arena for badminton and rhythmic gymnastics. The organizers claim these will be built using low-carbon construction methods. The aquatic center will include seats made from recycled local plastic waste, with wood used throughout construction. But several critical voices have been raised towards the organizing committee of the 2024 Olympic Games, and among them is this opinion piece by Jules Boykoff at the Pacific University, who is writing here on the Scientific American website. The Paris Olympics are a lesson in greenwashing, he says. The Olympics are a sustainability nightmare, and Paris, despite its efforts, is no exception. The organizers of the Games say that in light of climate change, they've made sustainability a centerpiece of their enterprise. Channeling their inner Greta Thunberg, they promise that the event will be historic for the climate and revolutionary games like we've never seen before. Yet, in the city where global leaders signed a landmark agreement in 2015 to limit post-industrial global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, we're getting a recycled version of green capitalism that is obvious in its incrementalism, vague with its methodology, and loose with its accountability. It's too late for Paris, but if the Olympic organizers truly want to be sustainable, the Games need to reduce their size, limit the number of tourists who travel from afar, thoroughly greenify their capacious supply chains, and open their eco-books for bona fide accountability. Until then, the Olympics are a greenwash, a pale bit of lip service delivered at a time when climatological facts demand a systematic transformation in splendid technicolor. Greenwashing is nothing new for the sports world, where a massive chasm exists between sustainable word and deed. Sports mega events such as the Olympic Games and FIFA World Cup have long voiced concern for the environment and claim to proffer solutions while doing the bare minimum, if anything, to make genuine ecological improvements. To be sure, this summer's Paris Olympics have made significant sustainability strides, but their earnest efforts have raised a broader question. Can the Olympics truly be an environmentally sustainable event? The modern-day supersized Olympics, with its fossil fuel guzzling ways, is simply not compatible with an authentic sustainability agenda. And the author goes on here with some example of what the organizing committee have been doing and says that all this is good, but is it enough? Not according to a report by Carbon Market Watch and Eclaircier, the environmental watchdogs that have skewered Paris 2024 organizers for the lack of transparency and precision. The strategy, the group says, lacks detailed methodologies and comprehensive monitoring and is not clearly communicated. Paris 2024 organizers' adoption of deceptive phrases such as climate positive and carbon neutral, which they abandoned after facing public pressure, has also bred credible skepticism from sustainability watchdogs. The biggest portion of greenhouse gas emissions for major sports events, approximately 85% by some estimates, derives from travel to the event by fans, journalists, and athletes. The carbon footprint of international travel to attend the Olympics in Paris, let alone Tahiti, where the surfing contest will be held, which sits a whopping 9,765 miles from Paris, is massive. Yet Games organizers have generally offered vague platitudes rather than concrete action plans. One academic study that investigated the sustainability of 16 different Olympic Games spanning 1992 through 2020 found that environmental follow-through has actually diminished over time. The four least sustainable Olympics, the Sochi, the Rio, the Tokyo, and London Games, were all recent. So this is some harsh critique by Jules Boykoff. But you can also read the Olympic Games' own legacy and sustainability plan, which you can download here. And they're writing, the Paris 2024 Organizing Committee has set out to establish a new model for the Olympic and Paralympic Games, pledging to deliver an ambitious, spectacular, universal event that is more responsible, more sustainable, more united, and more inclusive. So download it from this website and have a look. So, what do you think about the sustainability of the 2024 Olympic Games in France? Please comment below and like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. That's all for today. Over and out, and live a sustainable life.